Hello, welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host, Jimmy Qualls, and with us as always is resident basketball expert Tate Mathews. Tate, we have seen some extraordinary basketball this past 2 weeks, particularly this week with the sectionals coming to a close. We made history. 6 teams got in.
Yep, and very well represented, and you know it's pretty neat. Every year since we've done this show, there just always seems to be a cool story, and this one's a little bit different, but I think that's a big part of it. 6 in the sub-state sectionals, whatever you want to call it. 2 of them being Nolensville, both the boys and the girls. Region champs, second year, no seniors. I mean, it's unbelievable. Both of them came up just 1 game short of making it to the state tournament. I don't know that that's ever been done with a second-year school. There's just so many great stories. And then Fairview boys basketball, what a great story. Oh, Franklin, what coach? You know, we'll go back to Fairview. I mean, they take it to overtime.
Are you kidding me?
Against Stratford, who, you know, came
Popcorn City. Everybody in the state thought that game would be a Popcorn City towards Stratford's side, running clock, 35-point win.
And it almost was. I mean, there was a point where it looked like it might be.
Fairview has the ball and a shot to win it at the end of regulation.
That's right. I mean, so what an unbelievable story there. What an unbelievable year they've had this year at Fairview overall, you know, with the you couple that with the wrestling, what the Yellow Jackets did in wrestling this year. And then, you know, what Coach Joins has done with Franklin and the Rebels basketball team this year. God, what a heartbreaker, man. I just fell in love with that team this year. You know, you hate to use the word underdog, but I think they kind of were. You know, when they don't ever pass the look test when you walk out there, especially last Monday night. They didn't. But to almost win 30 games in his second year there, what a fun team to watch. And then Ravenwood, Lady Raptors. They finished 4th in the district tournament. And then what have they done? And we're very disappointed in that. I read an article where Coach Harris said it might have been the toughest loss of her career. She's been coaching a while now.
So think about how they got into that 4th spot. Literally, Franklin has to hit a half-court shot at the buzzer. They lose that game. They go into the consolation game at District 11 AAA District Tournament. Lose that game to Brentwood. Most people thought, they're done. You know, that one shot cost them their entire season. And what do? They came back. That's a perfect segue. They came into the Region 6 AAA tournament, and they defeat
as the 4th seed.
As the 4th seed, and beat the number 1 seed in the tournament, Cane Ridge, who was 27-0 coming into that game.
And ranked number 2 in the state in AAA, and rightfully so. I mean, let's just say this: a lot of people thought Cane Ridge would be playing in Murfreesboro today.
Sure, I mean. Nobody gave Ravenwood a chance to win this game. I'll tell you something I saw at this game that I haven't seen in a while. Let's talk about Kiera Downey, household name here in the WCS Sports Conference. You know, you go back 2 years to her sophomore campaign, really good basketball player, knew that the sky's the limit for this young lady, gets an injury, a season-ending injury in her junior year, came back from that, and you know, I don't know if there's insecurity there due to the injury or what's going on. Probably not have played her best basketball until she got to the district tournament. And then she got into the regional tournament. You can see it in her face. She put the team on her back. No way we're losing tonight. What an exceptional tournament she's had in the regional tournament and the sectional game as well. So she's going into the state tournament with being one of the best, you know, the hottest players in the mid-state.
I would say stat-wise, she probably is the hottest player now. You know, there's some other teams that we'll talk about. They've got some more people, you know, and they're spreading it out. But as far as carrying the load, without a doubt, she's the one doing it. And so what do after they beat Cane Ridge? They turn around, they beat Dixon County, who's ranked in the top 10 in AAA in the state, not mid-state, in the state.
Correct.
They beat them, come back and beat Brentwood again, who they had just lost to a couple of weeks ago, and then they beat Lebanon, who's as we all know, and I mean this as a compliment to the Lady Raptors. It's just I don't think people know that place is funneling AAU kids through their program up there at Lebanon.
I think Coach Barrett's doing a good job with that.
With that, I think that's what he does, right?
Right.
And then I don't think there's any AAU kids being funneled through Ravenwood, and they get that win. It's just an unbelievable story. And now they're going on into and they're doing it without their leading scorer.
Thank you.
The leading rebounder and leading steals.
Right.
I believe.
Like Jazz Harmon. Jazz Harmon, sophomore, arguably one of the better players, if not the best player in 11 AAA, behind Holly Harris and Kiera Downey. You know, out for the season, and then you've got another senior leader on that team out with an injury. I mean, we're talking about a bare-bones skeleton crew of a team. Could it be that Mariska Harris has done the best coaching job in the Mid-State? I mean, literally, if you think back, I was talking to John Wild this week about that. John Wild, he says, without a doubt, Mariska Harris has done the best job coaching-wise than anybody that he's seen in a long time, and that's a big compliment.
Well, I hesitate to say yes because of this, just what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Every time I think so, then you see, I mean, what about what Trey McCoy's done at Fairview? What about what
on the female side?
Probably so. I would say
you can't leave Chris Ladd out of the conversation.
Yeah, well, okay, there you go. Great point. I mean,
but Ravenwood's 21-11 right now. Their look test on paper like 21-11, right? Obviously our district on the girls' side in 11 AAA is a really stout district. We swept, obviously, in the region play, all four of the sister district in 12 AAA, and brought this thing back to our side.
Which was really cool.
Yeah, and so you're beating up each other. It's kind of like the SEC in football, right? We don't know how good we are until we get out. And then you go out and you sweep the other side and you bring that thing back home, which is pretty neat. Ravenwood 21-11. They defeat Brentwood 68-60. In the championship game of the region play. That was the fourth time they've seen each other. Izzy Franco, Kira Downey, who wins this matchup again. What a great game that was. 68-60, the Lady Raptors, man, on a tear, on fire right now. They defeat them after beating Cane Ridge.
Hey, real quick, I want to make sure we mention her and then they get into the Lebanon game, 59-50. They were down by 8 in the fourth quarter, right? Kiara Downey scored 25, which we know about that. But they've had somebody all through this run step up. And Berkeley Byron, she scored 15 points. Well, they needed all 15 of them. Without those 15 points, their washing uniforms not going to Murfreesboro. So it just every night, Kiara's going to get hers. Right. Somebody stepped up.
Well, you've got the Erickson girl. She's a freshman. Steps in, hits the 18-footer at Cane Ridge to pretty much ice the game on the line, tied up. So, but that's what Kiera brings. It's kind of like the Reese Glover factor, right? So Kiera brings all the talent, all the defense, everything is looking at her. Then she distributes the ball and somebody else makes a big-time shot for them. So, Lady Raptors, man, best of luck. So they beat Cane Ridge, they beat Brentwood, and then they beat Lebanon in the sub-state to get to the AAA state championship. And who do they draw first round? So does this story continue? Who do they draw the first round?
Riverdale. 33-1.
Ranked 4th in the country. Not the state, 4th in the country.
Only losses. I don't know where they're from. They were out of state.
Out of state.
They're really good.
Riverdale's a really good team.
Yes.
Obviously. Nobody's giving them a chance. Nobody gave them a chance at Cane Ridge. Nobody's giving them a chance, all the way through this thing. Can the Lady Raptors pull one more rabbit out of the hat?
Well, I think it's going to be really tough. I mean, it's dang sure going to be an upset, and I don't even think Coach Harris would tell her team any differently. It's going to be an upset. It's going to take their best game. They are going to have to slow the game down. No doubt about that. If they get out and run with Riverdale, that's not good. I mean, they can play really fast and they can run and they've got depth. They've got more depth, obviously, than Ravenwood does too. But sure, I mean, you slow it down. All you got to do is beat them once. I think if they play 10 times, one's all they could get. But why not? Hey, let's go up there. We got to show up, right? We have to play.
That's why they play the game, baby.
Go out there
and
just throw everything at them. And
if you take that thought into that Stratford Fairview game last night, right?
Exactly.
Nobody thought there's no way Stratford beat East Nashville to get in this thing. Fairview gets in after losing, by 1 point to Nolensville. Gets in this game, and all of a sudden you're like, "There's no way."
Right.
And then you've got the ball into regulation and a shot to win it. So Brentwood finished out the season 23-10. Coach Miles Thrash, phenomenal job with the Lady Bruins this year. They defeat Franklin 57-41 in the region semis to get into that championship game against Ravenwood. Let me tell you, that game wasn't even close. Brentwood was a big statement win to put the Lady Rebels out of contention of even going to the state tournament, which is a shocker to everybody after the season they've had with Coach John Wild, Holly Harris and company. just couldn't make a shot that night. Stifling defense. Izzy Franco played great. Their Trucial twins played great. All the way down the list.
The future's bright for
The
Lady
future
Williamson.
is extremely bright.
And I'll tell you a thing that was one that the young ladies had to go out there and execute it. That's number one. Doesn't matter the best game plan in the world, right? It's not worth anything if they don't go out and execute it. I think Coach Wild will tell you a big part of that, not even being close. Brentwood had a great game plan, especially defensively, and they went out and they executed it. So hats off to Coach Thrash.
On the 6AA side, we talked about Nolensville. We mentioned them earlier. Chris Ladd's group, the Lady Knights of Nolensville, 22-9 this season. What a remarkable job. Not a single senior. Don't even start. I think they only start one junior, if I'm not mistaken. All sophomores and freshmen. And they defeated Marshall County 46-38 in the 6AA championship game of the region play to get themselves a sub-state bid. Unfortunately, they lost to East Nashville 48-43. Now, interesting note, they played East Nashville earlier in the year in the Christmas. They lost by 30.
Right.
They had an opportunity to win this game. So it just goes to show the maturation process of the Lady Knights and what Chris Ladd has done.
Well, and East Nashville is so athletic. I mean, that program, this isn't just a one-year thing with East Nashville. They've been good for years now, and they're so athletic. And I have not seen them. My guess is they pressure you and pressure you relentlessly. And I saw a quote by Coach Ladd, and not only did they beat them by 30, they had 33 turnovers the last time they played them, which I think that was in December. I think they had 10 or 11 this time.
What's the rule of thumb to winning?
45 and 15 or under. First one to 40, 15 or less turnovers.
Yeah, there's no way you can win with more than 15 turnovers.
Yeah.
It's might near impossible.
It's tough.
So,
but what growth, and that's
goodness.
neat. That's what, we always talk about it. What's our goal? Let's be playing our best basketball. Let's be better at the end than we were when we started.
Coach Jones has a good rule.
I'd say they did that.
Coach Jones has a great rule of thumb. Let's be practicing basketball when it's nice outside, and that
He's got a bunch of
you know you're deep then, right? So it's been nice outside. Lady Knights are there. Just getting themselves into this game, getting their feet wet, getting that process. They won't be scared next year. We're going to have to go back to Mr. Producer. I'm pretty certain first of the year I predicted the Lady Knights would be in the sub-state game.
You did.
Next year, I'm going to make this prediction early.
Ooh, I'm sure he
They will be in Murfreesboro.
Well, it sure looks like it. I mean, again,
Going to make 2 straight
they're
trips.
starting one junior, and then sophomores, and then Zoe's a freshman, right? I believe
Zoe
Pillar's a freshman.
Yes.
Well, the jump from freshman to sophomore. Yeah, I mean, I'm with it. I'm sure. Coach Ladd, he probably. Somebody needs to tell him you don't win 22 games in your second year, man. No, I'm just kidding. I know he's very proud of it, but I mean it's the bar has been set very high for next year.
So let's look real quick, snapshot at the AA Girls State Tournament. They starts this week. Nolensville coming out of this AA side. Westview, Alcoa opening game. Macon County versus Cheatham County. Cheatham County's 28-1 coming out of that region. East Nashville 28-8 who beat Nolensville to get in versus a undefeated 34-0 Upperman team. Haywood and Gatlinburg-Pittman round out that field. Anybody sticks out on that AA side for you?
Upperman, Akira Levy, she's probably the best.
Man, you dug deep on that one. Nice job.
She's real well. I mean, it's the truth.
Okay. I'm shocked.
We need
I'm
a
shocked.
Captain Obvious.
Yeah. 34-0.
Have you seen her?
No, I have not.
Yeah. She can play.
On the AAA side, Riverdale 33-1, like we said, mentioned earlier, faces Ravenwood in the opening match. Arlington, Bearden, Daniel Boone, Bradley Central, and Mount Juliet Houston round out that Elite Eight group. What do you think?
I mean,
Riverdale's got to be the odds-on favorite, but I believe G2 Bar.
I hope you're right.
Be their tradition. Ravenwood is rolling. They got some good things going out there culturally. They got some good things going on the girls' basketball side.
If they win, will you go and stage dive into the student section?
I might paint an
like
ornament, yes. I don't know what it would
That
do.
would be awesome.
On the boys' side, man, we've seen some really good basketball.
Yep.
I mean, really, really good basketball. Let's start on the AAA side, 6 AAA. We go over the 11 AAA group. Literally, comes down to one game between Dixon and Cane Ridge. We almost brought the entire tournament back. Dixon gives Cane Ridge all they want. Cane Ridge is a great, boys basketball program. What Marlon Sims has done over there, he's done a really good job last 3 years. His overall record is pretty good.
Yes.
And Dixon, The future's bright for
He's done a good
Jason
job.
Taggart. I mean, really good job. They're young. They're going to give us fits in the WCS Sports Conference for the next year, year or two coming. Brentwood 25-7 played Franklin 28-6, 49-44. That was another epic showdown in the region semis. Loser go home. Winner gets into the championship game and a sub-state berth.
Yep, and it was a great game. Kind of low scoring in the first half, warmed up a little bit in the second half, and it's what we've come to expect. I mean, anytime these two teams get together, either one of them will win it. Glover had 30, Jack Thurman had 22. Both their big-time players stepped up, and it was a typical Brentwood Franklin game, just a great game, man. And I guess it's Brentwood that's dictating that. When those two get together, you're not going to see 79, 76, anything like that. But it's just there's just some excitement the whole time. Anytime Glover gets the ball, anytime Thurman gets the ball, it was a good game and big win by Franklin.
Well, Brentwood, like I said, finishes the year 25-7. Okay, so let's look at the future of Brentwood. You've got a lot of pieces of the puzzle coming back.
Yes.
You mentioned Thurman. Harry Lackey will be a junior. You've got the younger Winley brother. Of course, David is, moving on now. He's a senior.
Right.
Great player, high character kid. Can't say enough nice things about David Winley and his classiness that he had in the loss and the way he said positive things about Franklin and just, this guy's a class act.
I agree.
And I think the future's extremely bright for him off the floor, regardless of what he does in his personal life. But David Winley being a really good player and what he's done for Brentwood and WCS Sports Conference, is second to none. But he's graduating as well as Zach Leonard and some of their post kids. But they got Ben Mills coming back at the post. They've got Thurman and Lackey. They've got the younger Winley brother. They've got the other guard, name escapes me right now, whose older brother played for Coach King. They've got the pieces of the puzzle coming back. Brentwood is not going away.
Oh. Well, and how many did they win last year? Had to be over 25, didn't it?
Yes.
So in 2 years, these guys
State tournament.
have won over 50 games, been to a state tournament, have a district championship and 11 AAA under their belt. Maybe 2. I can't remember if they won it last year or not. But you're right. I mean, they're going to be a deep, experienced, talented team next year. It's going to be fun.
And then you look at Franklin. Reese Glover, just a junior, going to be back for his senior campaign. Really wished he got to the Glass House this year. I think that would have helped him for his Mr. Basketball campaign for next year. He's coming back. You've got Big Curls, we like to call him the post. Matt Thurman coming back as a sophomore. He's going to be keep your eyes on him, put him on the radar because that kid's going to be special. Yep. Big kid. They've got a lot of pieces of the puzzle coming back. They're losing some seniors, some good players. You can't say enough about Ziegler as well.
Yep.
What a great high character kid he is too. Hate to see him get beat in a sub-state game like he did. But he falls.
Jack Patton as well.
Yeah, he falls in that same category as all these kids do. Fall in the same category as David Winley. Just high character, great kids, good athletes, going to be successful off the floor regardless of what they do in their personal life.
Well put.
So Jack Patton will be moving on. I think the post name escapes me at the moment, but he'll be moving on as well. But Thurman will be taking over post duties there.
Yes.
Freshman guard that they have that played a lot of minutes will be stepping up now into probably Jack Patton's role.
Right.
With Reese Glover and some pieces, and he's got 6'6" coming from Poplar Grove, as well as another good player, a good athlete from Poplar Grove. So
and he's got some coming from Grassland as well.
And Grassland had a good basketball team as well.
Yep.
They've got some pieces of the puzzle going to be there, and it's going to be there for the next 3 or 4 years.
Well, and I tell you what, the excitement around the program. If you were at that game Monday night, the sub-state game or sectional game, I wish they'd change it back to sub-state. I think everybody would rather it
I'm
be
going to call it sub-state regardless.
All right, so the sub-state game, I would – obviously, we couldn't go to all of them, but I feel comfortable saying there was not a better environment, a more packed gym than there was at Monday night for Franklin Mount Juliet. There was no empty seats, and I mean they were it was energized and they were ready to go. So if I'm a young kid and I go to that, I want to play basketball here.
It's the best recruiting tool ever.
Pretty neat.
Your son, my son, standing on the front row. Don't you think they want to be Rebels?
They were like, man.
2,000
play in a
seating
game like
capacity. We capped the online tickets at 500. They sold out in 7 hours.
And I bet there would have been more Mount Juliet people, but I don't think they could get tickets.
Couldn't get in.
It was maroon. It was maroon, and it was all the way up to the top. Great environment.
It was a great environment. Let's talk about a good young team. Let's talk about Centennial for a moment. Pete Froden's team, 17-14, lost a lot of close games. The record looks like, well, they're just okay. No, they're better than okay. That record is no indication of what that team, how they finished. They lost to Cane Ridge 77-56. That game was a little closer than what that score indicates.
Without a doubt.
You want to talk about a team. Trey Carlton, fighting some injuries during this tournament, was not 100%.
No.
Sophomore guard, super sophomore, will be back. Dusty Simmons.
Williams.
Dusty Williams, sophomore, going to be back as a junior.
Haynesworth,
junior, going to come back as a senior. The only person they're missing out of their top 7 guys is Hayden Pearson, who, by the way, had a great career, great senior year.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, a lot of people could have written him off.
Yeah, and he did a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
You know, and he's going to be going on to Martin Mathews. Congratulations to him. I hope to see how his career unfolds there. But, you know, you've got all these pieces of the puzzle come back. Hayden is literally the only guy of the top 8 that are moving on. Everybody's coming back.
And I think you talked about it at the Centennial Cane Ridge game, something that they do, and then in the Brentwood game, you know, they win the district championship, right? And so, the way they defend, I think Centennial defends as well or better than anybody.
I saw a team that beat them man-to-man defensively.
Mount Juliet. Without a doubt.
Unbelievable.
But I was going to say this.
Yes.
I'm going to say this, and you know what I think of Reese Glover. A healthy Trey Carlton as a junior next year, I think he gives Glover a run for his money for district MVP.
That's a pretty bold statement.
He's a player, man.
I don't think I can't argue that. 2 different style players, because Trey Carlton's not going to give you capable of giving you 30, not going to give you 30 night in and night out, because he does the other things. Not that Reese Glover doesn't. 2 different style players. That's a pretty good statement, though. You got to think about that. Top players come back.
When Brentwood wins the district
Thurman coming back.
In overtime,
Reese Glover.
He was out, right?
Right. Yes.
I think it's different if he's in. Don't you?
I don't disagree with you. But Franklin moves on into that region championship game. They defeat Cane Ridge. A lot of people thought there's no way they could beat Cane Ridge. You know, Cane Ridge coming in 26-8. They win it 77-68. Reese Glover, region MVP, district MVP. It's like a broken record. I mean, it's going to be the same next year, I would think. Unless, like you said, Brentwood happens to win it, and you're talking about Jack Thurman, maybe potentially Harry Lackey stepping into that position. Trey Carlton, you know, it wouldn't be surprised if somebody came and told me Centennial's going to win the district next year. I think they're going to be, they're going to be right there. Those top 3 teams, you're talking about some good basketball coming back.
Without a doubt.
Summit struggled this year. You know, Ty Carter not being in there is a total, you're talking about what one player brings to the table. Ty Carter plays, we're probably talking about Summit today, without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, and you don't even you forget about that, but yeah, if he's playing, who knows? I mean,
So
he would have been up there in the conversation.
So it slides Jaden Lewis over to the 2 and not having to handle the ball all the time. So Ty Carter's now, you know, dispensing the ball. So, you know, Jaden Lewis then comes off screens. DeMonte Dixon don't have to do so much.
That's right.
It's just a total difference maker, right? Yeah. Okay, so DeMonte moves on. Younger brother comes back. He's, 6'7". Jaden moves on. They've got some kids coming from Spring Station that are ready to play. I mean, so Summit's going to be a good young team. I think they're 2 years away. Yeah. But they're going to be in the mix too, as always.
It's going to be tough.
In the AA side, we spoke of this earlier, Fairview, 25-8. They finished the year 25-8. Trey McCoy, what that has done out there since 1991, they have not won a district championship, nor have they won 20 games. As a matter of fact, if you add up the wins they've had in the past 4 years that I've been here, I'm not sure it gets to 25. Matter of fact, I know it doesn't.
No, and it's just that is a place. It's still a community school, and that's a place where you have to share athletes to be successful. I don't care what anybody says. You have to.
Have to.
And that's what they've done. And look at the success they've had from football on to now basketball.
Name the top 2 guys right now.
Darius James and Harris Lusk.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Darius James hits a bomb at Nolensville in the region tournament. 3 seconds.
Clutch, man.
3 seconds left. Loose ball. Who dives on the floor to get it?
Lusk.
Harris Lusk gets it, throws it to Darius James. He catches it, shoots a 30-footer to beat Murfreesboro Central Magnet 41-38 to get into the first ever region championship game and sub-state game. You know, what Trey McCoy has done. Then they take Nolensville down to the wire. They get beat 1.
Right.
Dead in the water, right?
On Nolensville's
And they were our best chance of winning a sub-state game last night, if you think about it.
Yep.
You know, Franklin goes in. They lose to Mount Juliet. Great team. Hats off to Coach Allen and Mount Juliet. He's got a really good basketball team. They're big, they're thick, they're athletic. They can shoot it. They're going to give some people some fits. I don't think they're good enough to win it, but they are a good basketball team.
I was thinking about it last night after we left the game. As long as they don't draw east, I think they got a chance to win a game. I think they can beat a Blackman, an undefeated Blackman.
I want to see that because we talked about that a little bit. I really think that they will give
you want to talk about
Coach Wortman and Blackman Blaze all they can handle.
You know, you hear the words clinic a lot. You know, I remember, you know, when Coach King was going to those state tournaments. Coach King's been that was, in my opinion, that was a clinic on how to play defense last night or Monday night. They played.
So they came in
defense.
You got to think, Coach Allen, Coach Joins have played each other 100 times.
Those Hillsboro Beach games when those two were head coaches.
And he knew coming into the game, the 1-3-1 was going to be there. Diagonal pass is what is kind of the Achilles heel, and rebounding.
Right.
They capitalized on both.
They won both.
Their big man, which they probably I wouldn't say written off, but they were thinking, take care of this guy, take care of this particular guy. The big man, if he gets some, he gets some. He ends up with 18 points last night. I mean, he had a great game. On that diagonal pass, they brought 3 guards up. They literally were resting their guys on offense, and then on defense, their 2 guards flat got after Reese Glover. We face guarded him from the time the ball went through the net all the way. You know, I mean, the energy expenditure that Reese Glover had to do just to get the ball in his hands.
No doubt, no doubt.
And it played a big factor.
And did he ever come out of the game?
No.
Yeah.
Couldn't. Played a phenomenal game.
Played a phenomenal
He had 16 points, and I mean, that was the hardest earned 16 points he's ever had.
Dang right. And yeah, it was. He earned every penny, and he fought the whole way through. That's what I love too. And another thing I loved, it was borderline. You know, they were testing him. They were trying to rattle, tugging on him and pushing on him.
Oh yeah.
He never got rattled, and I thought that shows maturity.
Nolensville loses to White Creek 51-47. Wes Lambert and his crew, man. Blade Orn, that bunch, man, they're going to be back. Every kid's coming back. I would have loved to see one of those 2 teams getting in, Nolensville girls or boys. No team's ever qualified for the state tournament without seniors. That would have been huge.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, let's talk about it, man. They opened the door 2 years ago. Right. 2 years ago, Tate, football team wins a playoff game. Basketball teams, both girls and boys, in the sub-state. I'm not sure. I have to go back and check the record books on their Big 6.
Wrestling went to the duels, state
Dude.
duels. Big time. I know Hester's going to try to take credit for it all because he was the athletic director. But
was.
He had the vision.
Was.
That's what I said. He was the athletic director. He had the vision on it. But he did. Hired good people, man.
He did.
They got good kids. That's a special place.
Share the mission. Share the vision. People will come.
There you go.
Just like people like to come to this show, Tate.
Oh, man.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.
You know the most important lesson you can teach your kids about playing sports is concussion signs and symptoms. After a hit to the head, if they have any concussion signs like blurred vision or headache, they need to stay out of play until they're checked by a healthcare professional. Play safe when it comes to concussion. When in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. This is the other thing you can teach them. Comes in handy.